Eastern Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams in the Appalachian Mountains, fields and streams. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks are on the run. Where those dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The coyotes run all night. It's music to my ears and in my sights. I've got this hunting fever down in my bones. Glad my daddy taught me everything I know. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks are on the run. Where dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our name. The TLC Outfitter is our name.
Hey everybody, happy Tuesday. Welcome to On Air and Outdoors with TLC Outfitters. As always, I'm Trinity and we're joined tonight by Matt Woolwine. Appreciate your time, Matt. Thanks for coming on. Hope everybody's had a great start to your week. Hope everybody made it through the weekend. A little bit soggy this weekend, kind of got knocked out of our chute, but we got things back in place and ready to go for the weekend.
Yeah, looking better. I think I'm thinking we made the right choice on pushing that off, and hopefully we can get out there and have a good dry shoot and maybe a little sunshine and make them old colors on them pheasants stand out a little bit. They glisten in the sun.
That's right, man. And before we get started tonight, man, I got to show everybody I'm representing. You see what that T-shirt says right there, don't you? That's right. Magoffin County Hornets. Got to give a big shout out to the 23-24 Magoffin County Hornets, the first Magoffin County boys basketball team to make it to the Sweet 16 for our county. Very proud of those guys. They have worked hard and they've had a great season. And man had a tough road through the 15th region, but they pulled it off, beating the defending 15th region champs, Martin County. We just thankful for those guys and going to be supporting them the whole way. Congratulations to the Magoffin County Hornets, 15th region champ boys basketball. Look forward to seeing y'all in the Sweet 16. Got a pretty good draw. We play Prairie County Central first round, so we'll see how far they got. They've got pretty good predictions to see how far they're going to go. So there's a lot of folks going to head down and support them. So pretty proud of those guys. Man, I tell you what, we've had some pretty weather. This weather sure got me thinking about them old turkeys and mushroom hunting and a lot of other things. But old man winter ain't done with us yet. I see a long range forecast there. Looks like we got some cool temperatures moving back in.
Yep, talking about mushrooms, there's a few people in the state finding them already. It's we've had a lot of wet weather here recently, and then warming up to 70 degrees on a few days, and I think it's making them things pop out the ground.
That's right. Yeah, I think that we've seen, and the funny thing is some of the pictures we've seen, people are laying receipts down with dates on it or putting their phone down because, a lot of people don't believe that stuff or you don't know what to believe. So yeah, they're popping up. So hopefully it'll be a good year. Last few years have been a good year for mushroom hunting, and if you've not tried it, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Appreciate everybody being on here with us tonight. Our good buddy Gator Paul's with us. Says, hey guys, appreciate you tuning in all the way from Inglis, Florida. Man, I tell you what, can't say enough good things about Florida. My mind tends to venture down that way a lot with all of our adventures down there. Those guys sure roll out the red carpet for us. Talking about Florida, man, we got some messages from our good buddy Scott Sumter. Of course, he is a active officer with the FWC down there, the Florida Wildlife Commission, and got some exciting news from him. I tried to upload the videos, and they didn't upload for whatever reason. But let me see right here if I can find these pictures, because our good buddy down there, his grandson harvested his first turkey. If I can find it. Right here we go.
And second
turkey. That's right. I got the videos and everything if it'll load up here. There we go. Look at that, man. That's our buddy Scott Sumter's grandson, Mr. Ron. And he laid the hammer down with that little 410 Rossi right there on a big old Florida turkey. And we've got the videos. If I can't get it to load tonight, I will get them loaded a little bit later on. But that's his first ever turkey. And I can tell you what, there's no prouder grandpa than Scott Sumter. Let's see if I can get the second one loaded here. Computer's being a little slow tonight. Turn right around. Now, this turkey right here was one of 5. They caught in 5 longbeards. If I can get that video to load, we'll see that. But turn around, went out the next morning, and I'm telling you what, man, I'm texting Scott at like 8 something. And I'm like, man, can I post this picture from yesterday and stuff? He said, yeah, why, yeah, just post this one too. So they had tagged out and got this on video. And Ron laid the hammer down this one, but Scott has turned into a great camera guy, man.
One thing about it, the camera's going to be rolling, or flash bulbs are going to be flashing if Scott's with you.
That's right, man.
He likes them videos.
Yeah. And let me see.
And I don't mean that to come off and sound the wrong way, because they sure are enjoyable to look back at after the hunt. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
This is Scott would be the one that videoed me getting knocked out of that chair by that iguana.
Yeah, he caught that at the right time, man. Yeah, it won't load. I'll have them for later. I don't want to mess up the show, but just want to say a huge congratulations to little Ron, and Grandpa Scott Sumter for laying the hammer down on 2 huge Florida longbeards, man. Just awesome time. Our good buddy Corey Evans is with us tonight, man. Appreciate you tuning in. Old Coyote Wayne, buddy, laying the thump on some Florida Yotes before they get started with the adult season down there. Love the podcast. Great information. We appreciate your support, Corey. Thank you very much. Miss Sarah says, hello, Trinity and Matt.
Hello.
Miss Sarah, I'll make sure Matt keeps the skunk negativity to a minimal tonight. Just remember who loves nature down there.
Sarah, just let me say this. We went out coyote hunting the other night, thermal, and we seen more skunks. I mean, you just can't believe how many we seen.
Too close for comfort, too. Yeah. And our good buddy Jeff Hill says, hello from West Virginia. Jeff's another guy brought his grandson down during youth season last year for the youth tournament. got to go out with our very own Cameron Hamilton, and his grandson laid the hammer on a monster Eastern right here in good old Prestonsburg. So I appreciate you being with us tonight. If you've not done so, please like and share the feed. Get the word out there about all things on air and outdoors. Talking about turkey, man, we're getting ready to bring on our special guest here tonight, and I have to tell you, this guy is another, I'm proud to say it, another McGoffin County. We're about to take over this show, and he's not only a McGoffin County, but he's part of the gun lock gang. He's a gun locker too. And this guy comes from what I consider the old way of turkey hunt. And when this fella is in the woods, I can tell you right now, they probably something going to die, especially when it comes to a turkey. We've had him on the we had him on the show before, but he actually completed the Grand Slam in 1 year. He was able to travel around. The first time that I traveled to Florida, Osceola hunting, we actually met up in Cabela's down there around Gainesville. Just kind of fell in there at the same time. Had kind of a tough deal down there. Went down there, and their first place kind of fell through, didn't happen, and he wouldn't quit, son. And he come away there from Osceola. Of course, he already had his Eastern. And then he made the trip out west, and wouldn't no time laid the thump on Merriam's and Rio. And when I say he laid the thump on Merriam's, I don't mean these out in the prairie, whatever. He wasn't happy with that. He went to the Rockies and got his. So he killed one of them old Rocky Mountain Merriams. So good guy all the way around. Has been a tremendous help to me over the years. Has taught me a lot of things about hunting turkeys. And as Ethan says here, live action turkey slayer Farley. So let's bring Farley Joseph on right here with us. Hey, man, how's it going?
Hey, guys, you doing good tonight?
Doing good, man. How you doing?
Doing good.
Good. Got John Pruitt. John's another one, man, come down here and went turkey hunting with us. Got to hunt with Paris and some of the other ones. Had a lot of live action. And of course, you know, them boys took him out for about a day and a half. I hunted with him for 15 minutes. We killed a nice gobbler right here. So appreciate John tuning in. Thank y'all very much. So you out of pocket a little bit tonight, man. Caught you on the road. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule.
Ain't no problem. I always talk turkey.
That's right, man. Now, turkey ain't your only forte, man. You want to tell us a little bit about these pictures right here?
Yeah, I've got back into squirrel hunting, and to be honest, I love it. It's the new passion, and getting my kids involved, and it's just been a good season, really.
Yep. It looks that way, man. It looks like you got, is that a Buckley Mountain Feist, or what kind of feist you got there?
That's a Reynolds feist.
Reynolds feist.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He's got a really good bloodline on him, and he's a real good dog. I'm lucky and blessed to have him.
Yeah. And I love this, man. Always including them babies right there. That's pretty awesome.
That's what it's all about.
That is, brother. That is what it's all about. Now, Matt, you let it go on record right here. John Pruitt said it took the man to get it done. Just write that down and take a mental note of that. I know you have a hard time with that one, but
yeah,
these old gun lockers, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, John. So, man, what I want to really focus on tonight, you know, turkey season, you know how it is. That we're in March, we're in that time frame where the weather will give us some, you know, kind of toy with us a little bit, kind of tease us with this warm weather, them 60-degree days. Them old gobblers, you all start firing up. You'll start hearing them here, start hearing them there, whatever. The old adage is, oh, man, I seen a turkey strapped beside the road and he had 3 hens with him in the end of February, 1st of March. It's going to be over with before, you know, April get here. I want to talk about all that. But the first thing I want to talk about with you two, I want to talk about sometimes we think we got to wait right for turkey season before we can do anything for a hunt. You know, we can't do there's actually a whole lot that you can do right now, the month leading up to turkey season. We're going to be talking about youth season, whatever, but there's a whole lot you can do right now. And there's a lot of things multifaceted that you can get into while you do it. So that's kind of what I want to talk about. You know, turkey scouting is something you don't hear a whole lot about from a lot of folks. we know that we scout hard for elk, we scout hard for deer, we're looking for various things. But actually, if you get out right now and start scouting for turkey, it can pay off big. Would you agree with that, Farley?
Oh yeah, I mean, if you've turkey hunted any years prior, those areas that you saw those birds in, you start there. But I mean, if you can find some scratchings, travel areas, I mean, just like deer, sit cameras up, and you can pattern a turkey because they like to come to the same strut zones and use the same travel corridors just like a deer would.
Yeah. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, same thing, Trendy. You know, last year the infamous bird that sat up there in the tree for an hour while his hen flew down and walked right past us. You know, we constantly seen a bird there in that same area last year, and from youth hunt all the way through the end of adult season. And so this year, before season comes in, I'm going to have a place set up there, expecting him to be back in that same area. And you know, I'm not saying I'm going to sit there, 12 hours of daylight every day until he shows up. But the fact is that I will have that as an option for a place instead of me trying to get in there and get set up. I'm going to go ahead and have me a nice place so I can just slip in there and be quiet and be, unseen and everything when I need to get in there instead of trying to do it that morning, basically.
Farley, would you say, we talk about creatures of habit all the time, pattern wildlife. Would you say turkeys are patternable and they're a creature of habit?
Yes, but I also say that if you bump turkeys, they will get out of those patterns. But they got short memories too. I mean, you bump one, leave him alone for a few days, and he'll still come back to that same area. But you just gotta. A turkey hunt's over when the turkey sees you. So as long as if you don't get that bird that day and he didn't see you, that's still a win in my book. Like if you know he's there and everything's, he didn't bust you, nothing happened, then you still did a good job hunting. Because I mean, the kill ain't what it's all about. I mean, I don't want to be saw when it's time to lay the hammer down. That's the only time I want them to know that I'm there.
That's right. Now, it's also a good time, man. Like right now, it's hard sometimes. We can need that little extra oomph. The thought of getting up early this time of year, and we know we got a lot of early. We got 21, about 23 days of hunting if you hunt all of Kentucky season. You can also get out there and hunt for antlers right now. If you've not had enough, motivation to get out there and look for antlers, it's a good time to get out there and look for antlers. And you can twofold that by looking for turkeys and whatever. And I have found that over the last few years, historically, in my 20-some years of turkey hunting, turkeys are not, they don't always do the same year after year. Now, some folks, and sometimes you can go to the same place and they're going to be there and what have you. But if you have experienced a lot of changes over the last few years, which we've seen, people saying downward spirals of the turkey population, turkeys just aren't in the same place where, where they used to be and so on and so forth. You got to go find them.
That's, I think that ice storm we had a few years ago changed dramatically. Some areas that always turkeys roosted in, they wasn't there because the ice storm brought those trees down and those branches. So, I mean, they got to have good roosting, and if the food's not there, they're not going to be there. So, you want to find the food and the roost trees, and that's where the turkeys are.
Yeah. What do you think, man?
The hens are really what you pattern. Those hens are nesting in those same areas every year. I'm in Kentucky. We can shoot a hen in the fall. No issue there. But most of us don't. Okay. And so those hens are spending year after year nesting in the same areas, traveling the same corridor, and they're there for a reason. It's the brood habitat, it's the food source, it's the roosting trees, it's all that. And those hens is what you got to pattern. Those gobblers are coming to them hens.
Yeah, that's right.
When it starts getting into late February and on into the season, those gobblers are going to seek those hens out. Well, them hens is what you're patterning.
Yep. Paul says that the ice storm changed the forecast for sure. That's what he's saying, and he said that's for sure when it comes to the hens. You know, you can do a whole lot, and I hope. I'm going to say this week in and week out. You know, we got turkey, so we're getting ready to see the close of thermal season coming up the end of the month for coyotes. Of course, you can hunt coyotes year round. A lot of people take to the water this time of year with fishing. Turkey season comes in, they're right back to the woods, and then it's kind of dead. So you're going to be hearing us week in and week out preach about food plots, habitat management. And when we talk about habitat and wildlife management, it's not just food plots. Food plots is just scratching the surface. But if you want to see some proof in the pudding, Farley talking about those cameras, Matt runs camera. You know, he's got cameras out right now. And Matt's gone year after year from not hardly seeing any turkey until now. Matt, what are you seeing after all the things that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when we first bought this place, we were so excited because we lived across the road, and it seemed like we seen turkeys here all the time. And we ended up buying the farm, and just in a year or two, the turkeys just seemed to disappear, really. And you know, started doing a lot of predator management and a lot of food plots and a lot of, you know, just different stuff. And now, you know, we're really starting to see good brood habitat come back into play. Starting to see, you know, those gobblers show up earlier and earlier in the year. I used to never see a gobbler until at least youth season came in. And you know, here we've got probably 3 weeks ago, I told you we had, or 2 weeks ago at least, had 4 big, and I'm not saying 2-year-olds, I'm saying 3-4 plus year old birds, and 4 of them out here the other day. And now, you know, we got, you know, groups of 15 hens or something like that on camera, and gobblers mixing in slowly now. So we've really kind of seen it go from here to here, and then with the habitat practices and the predator trapping and shooting back up. So hopefully we can just keep improving on that.
Yep. Tim Fannin says by nature, hens actually goes to the toms. We as hunters have to reverse that. And I'd like to talk about this a little bit more now. If you're somebody like Farley Joseph, you can call them from a mile away. I mean, it's like the Pied Piper. You know, we all don't have that type of talent, and sometimes we have to make it as easy as we possibly can. You know, we're trying to get him in that 40-yard bubble, and when you start dealing with them old weary toms, you get a tom 3, 4, 5 years old. He's been around. He's seen a whole lot. And when you get to that age, you don't want to do a whole lot. You'd rather them come to you. But there's a lot of things you can do to close the distance. And sometimes I think people sell themselves short. I always say, be a turkey hunter, not a turkey caller. And everybody just plops down and, you know, hopes for the best. But these tactics and things, you know, you can actually, if you know the landscape, you can move on them quite a bit, can't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah. I actually do that a lot. I cut the distance. If you can cut the distance without being busted, you improve your chances tremendously. Because just like Tim said, nature is for the hen to go to the gobbler. So if he's gobbling, and there's if you're in an area that has a lot of hens, then they're going to beat you to the gobbler. So realistically, if I can, I won't even call to a bird until I get in what I consider like a kill zone. And, you know, to me, that's 100 yards or so. If I can get in without being saw, I guess technically the right term for that is I'll go as far as I can when I know I'm safe. Like, I don't like to push it, but if I know I'm safe, I'm going to go that far.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just want to clarify what I was saying there. I'm not actually saying that the gobbler going to the hen in a hunting situation. I'm saying the gobblers move into the general area where the hens are and start staging up there. So yeah. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah. And you're exactly right. You know, and you know, it's easier to find a whole group of hens, a big group of hens scratching and whatever than it is to find trying to pinpoint one gobbler or whatever. But definitely, food source for the hens. And if you got hens, you're going to have gobblers at any given time. So that's right. I like that a whole lot. So
yeah, you got to find that brood habitat and that food source. That's where your hens are going to be. And then the gobblers are going to move into those general areas this time of year. And then the work comes for you to call the gobbler to the hen,
Yeah. Now, Farley, what? We're over here in the mountains, and then you take Matt. Matt's got rolling hills. Matt's got some hardwoods, but ag fields mixed with rolling hills, whatever else. This time of year over here on our state, what is your focus? Where are you looking at? You looking in the hollers and the valleys? You looking on the ridge tops and the benches? Are you trying to find those ag fields? What's your primary focus when you go out scouting for birds this time of year?
Realistically, in Eastern Kentucky, it's all above. But I mean, I like a good ridge line. Personally, is my favorite to hunt because where we growed up is such big mountains. I found if I can get a bird on the ridge, then I got a lot better chance of getting him. I don't like being on those benches and he can be above me. I like to start high and go low per se, but scouting wise, that's what I'm looking for. I'll hit those wide benches and that's a lot of times where you find your scratching, and logging roads for cameras is perfect. And like Paul's saying here with strut zones, I do typically find that birds stick with those strut zones. I've killed birds in strut zones, kind of what you'd say deer hunting. If everything's quiet, like when stuff goes quiet on me, I go to somewhere I think there's going to be a gobbler show up, and I'll sit and hit my call little by little. But really in Eastern Kentucky, it's some hard scouting. I mean, I would say right now driving around, and if you're seeing them in fields, and that's a good place to start.
Yep. And talking about strut zones, I've killed quite a few turkeys out of a strut zone. And going back to what you said about a win-win, it's not necessarily about killing a bird to have a successful hunt. If you're not seen, don't take for granted. If you're having a morning, let's say for instance, you go out one morning, maybe you go to a new place, maybe you go somewhere, and those birds just aren't close. They're off in the distance. You got to be somewhere. You got time restraints, whatever. Don't leave just because you're not within, you're not in the game with them. Sit down, go out where you can get a good listening place. Sit down and just listen. You may sit for 2 hours and listen, and you can learn a lot that's going to help you later on the next days to come. You can learn a lot about what those turkeys doing because you can actually listen to I don't know how many times I've listened. I've got one particular spot close by here. I know where those birds are going to be historically, but I can see if they're not on my side of the mountain, I can sit and listen at where those birds are going, and you can actually figure out a new setup just by spending a couple hours. Would you agree?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That happens a lot. I mean, there's a lot of mornings I'll hunt until 12, 1 o'clock, and I heard birds throughout the day in another area, and I can start there the next day. So,
that's right.
I mean, to me, if I'm in the woods, I'm happy. So I'll stay there as long as Kim ain't got a big hook in me wanting me back to the house.
Mrs. Joseph.
That's right.
Ben Moore says the turkey master. He's talking about you.
Yeah, Ben's the man.
6 p.m., 50 mile per hour winds. We know all about that. And don't give up, man. Don't give up. It's you might think you're out of the game. Ben and I and Jason Hollis from Hollis Outdoors got on a bird one evening, and we thought we were done. And I tell you what, that bird fired up, and you thought it was 10:30 a.m. in the morning. and was really good. So don't give up and don't count out evening hunts. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Tim says you have to pull out the old bag of chips in the hills and holler sometimes. That's right, man. You gotta try to go in and do a few different things, and don't be afraid if it's not working out. Short of, don't scare the turkey off. Try something new. Who's this guy right here, man?
That guy right there, he gets me in a lot of trouble, buddy.
I tell you what, he's hard on your pocketbook. I know that. Appreciate you tuning in, Justin. Now let's talk about youth season, Farley. This year, I like years like this year. Normally, we've got a week in between the season. And a lot of folks may not know this, but turkey season, regular opener, is the weekend closest to the 15th of April. So this year, the way that the cards have fell, the first weekend of April is youth season, and immediately the next weekend is the opener. Usually the way that it falls, we got a weekend in between. Well, it's not that way this year because of the way the month falls. That early season, what's going to be a good tactic for youth turkey hunters?
Like we talked about earlier, definitely scouting. I actually changed it up when you asked me to come on the show and you mentioned youth season. My first youth hunt come to mind, and like anything else, you can improve on things. So I was fortunate enough to have a lot of people, like you said, the old school of hunting. Delmer Shepard actually took me, and he called in a really nice gobbler to me. I mean, I wasn't big as nothing, and this gobbler comes in, and that bird drops his head and starts putting, and to me it looks like he's picking up acorns or whatever he's just feeding. I don't know that means he's busted us and I'm supposed to shoot. And the bird leaves, and Delmer said, "What's wrong with you? Why didn't you kill that turkey?" And I said, "Well, I just thought it was feeding. I was going to let it get closer. There's a little briar in my way there." Delmer said, "Son, you're packing a shotgun. You can shoot through that briar." So I would actually say, to be honest, when you think about youth season, you want the kids to have fun is the main thing. So early, get out and scout. If you can find where some turkeys are using, put a blind up. Young kid has trouble sitting still, so that blind at least hide all that, and you'll have a greater chance to get a bird. But also, as the hunter, if you're running and gunning, even with an older kid, keep calm no matter what, even if that's hard, because that kid's not going to be calm. So if you got a bird coming in, if that bird ain't busted you, let that bird keep coming. Don't tell that kid to shoot at it at 40 yards.
That's right.
Remember that when you're walking in the woods and you haven't been busted, the turkey don't know that you're not another turkey, especially if you've been calling. So that bird is most likely coming towards you, just like Tim said, the hens and gobblers are wanting to meet each other. So just keep that in mind, because that youth season, it can be magical if the weather's right, and it can be a hard hunt if it's wrong. But if it's any bit warm on youth season, you should be able to get a bird in for a kid, because nobody's messed with them. They're not scared. And it can be magical. But like I said, you want to be the calm person in the room and really let that bird get as close as you can before you have a little fella pull the trigger, or a girl.
Matt, I know that you've got a lot of time in the turkey tent with kids. I mean, we can't forget the turkey tent revival. But what would be some of your tactics for youth season, building on what Farley said about how to hunt and everything?
Well, I think the first thing is make sure that the kid is comfortable with a firearm. I'm not saying that they got to shoot a whole lot, but they got to be a little bit familiar with how to operate the gun.
Yeah.
Don't force them to stay out there when mentally they're done.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to make it about them. You got to make it special. Don't make it about you. We all know that, we want all the kids to harvest, especially if we're taking one, but don't make it about you. Make it about them and let them know that, let them know that they're the most important piece of the puzzle. So,
Kimber, my niece, she hunts with me quite a bit. And she's had some success. She's killed a big gobbler. She's missed a big gobbler. She's killed, I don't know, countless deer at this point with us. But, and so you can see her growing as an outdoorsman every year, every time you go out, the different questions that she asks or the things that she points out that maybe I've not even noticed yet, so you can tell her maturation process in the woods, but still we make it more about that weekend at deer camp or turkey camp, breakfast, what I'm saying? We're hunting here at the farm close by the house. So when she gets tired and, then it's about what we're going to eat for breakfast, or can we run down the road and see if Whitley's had any luck this morning. And, so we're kind of blessed to have, Whitley and Emma right down the end of the road, TJ's kids, and they're doing the same thing. They're out there hunting just like Kimber and Thomas are when they're here. And so, having that camaraderie right here close, it really, it's more about camp, which for me, that's what it's about anyway. It's more about the camp and the camaraderie than it is about pulling the trigger. And so, try not to get caught up in the harvest as much as you get caught up in spending that time in the outdoors with somebody that you're mentoring.
And that's right. Back to that story, Trendy. Like, show them some turkey hunting videos before you go, and explain the gobbler to them, explain the hen to them, and explain the putt, and just really get them, kind of do a little bit of digging before you go, and that'll help you on the hunt.
Yeah. Justin Tinsley says start them off right, 3.5-inch tungsten, and he's talking about 12 gauge.
Hey, and something else too, I think it's really important before the season when you're out there practicing, pattern the shotgun, letting the kids shoot and this and that, is make sure that the kid or new hunter, doesn't have to be a kid, if you're the guide in the situation, make sure that they know that get ready is not shotgun in your lap and look, watching. Get ready means you're ready. You know what I mean? Like you're ready to shoot. And a lot of times, and it's probably a failure on my part with new hunters or kids alike, get ready means I'm ready to pull the trigger at any time, and I've not conveyed that to them, and they think get ready means, oh, I'm getting ready to see something happen, not I'm getting ready to make something happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I always get that question: how old do they need to be before they can go? Well, I actually hate that question because it's different with every kid. But I've noticed that even with my girls, like my oldest, she's not ready to go yet, but she likes it. That don't mean that she can't go with me on a morning and hunt a little while. And, she won't have a gun, but it's just you, like Matt said, take some time with firearms with your kids to see, if they are ready to go in the woods with a firearm. Don't mean you can't take them to the woods if they're not, but just take them without a gun and just let them experience it. But I will say, back to the squirrel hunting, that's a great way to be introduced to the woods with a gun. If you get them a small gun, you don't even have to load it. Just let them pack it around and teach them the correct way to pack that gun.
Yep, that's right. And like Tim says here, the experience lasts longer than the turkey nuggets. That's right, Tim. Very good. Farley, what's your take on this whole? And I ask everybody this, even not just on here, but when I get to talk to people who I know spend a lot of time in the turkey woods. What's your interpretation of what's been going on the last 2, 3, 4 years with our turkey? If you look right now anywhere mainstream, it's all about how the turkeys are in decline. When you hear that, we're talking about those southern states. You're thinking about Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and some other places. But do you feel like that's going on here? Do you feel like there's some things? One of my buddies the other day, he's actually from up around the Huntington, South Point area, huge turkey hunter, call maker, whatever, and really knows his stuff just like yourself. And he explained it to me the best that I've heard it really explained. But I want to get your interpretation. What do you think overall, the Commonwealth, our area, wherever else? What do you think? What's your interpretation of our numbers of turkey?
Right, like you said, I can just speak for the areas I hunt, and I definitely, back to what Matt said about his farm earlier, I would say 7 years ago was probably the most turkeys that I'd ever been around in Eastern Kentucky. 7 to 8 years ago. After that, we had, and I don't know what the reason is, so I ain't trying to be a biologist or nothing like that, but I do think we had a really cold winter or two, and we had that ice storm, and I do think we had a decline because I used to see flocks of 30, 40 birds, and I don't really see that as much anymore. But I will say that last year's season, I saw more birds than I did the year before. And then I feel like this year I've got some cameras out and I've been getting some pictures. So I feel like this year is going to be better than last year. So I do think we went through a decline. I don't know if it was just weather or what all happened, but I think that it's came back a little bit, but we're nowhere near those numbers we had, say, 8 years ago. I think a little bit of that is habitat too, because there's more houses, more buildings than we've ever had, because we are still growing, so that's part of it.
What do you think, Matt?
There again, like Farley said, I'm not trying to be a biologist about it, but I think your predator population goes up and comes down. You may have a great litter of coyotes and a great litter of bobcats be born. You may have a lot of feral house cats that are running around in your area. And all those things are chasing those hens down, chasing those poults down, running hens off of the nest, and then attacking the nest. And I think, you you may have an explosion of predators this year, but then maybe a lot of those young, we'll just say coyotes, maybe a lot of those young coyotes get pushed out of your area and into different areas, which then brings the population of predators back down, which, allows that next year for those turkeys to expand a little bit. I think it's a combination of that. I think it's a combination of just brood habitat. There may be something small going on in your area that that allows different vegetation or a different food source to grow, or you take an acorn year. If it's an explosion, maybe you got to. There's so many things that go into it. That build that puzzle. That those missing puzzle pieces as to what happens from year to year. But for my area, I don't necessarily think that the population is in decline or in an incline. I just think those birds move just a little bit. The 150-acre farm that I hunt year to year, maybe they're just on the next farm that year because that had a little bit better habitat than what I had on my place. I've seen a lot, and we talk about it all the time. There's a lot of cattle farms up here, and we've talked about how those turkeys love to follow those cattle around and scratching those cow pies. And, if cattle get moved off of this particular farm this year and the cattle get moved 2 farms away, guess where your turkeys are going to be? They're going to be 2 farms away.
That's right.
They're following them cattle. That's just a food source and a habit that those turkeys enjoy. You think those things are bored throughout the day. I think scratching through them cow pies just gives them something to do. And like I said, they just follow those cattle herds. And if this farm here that I've been hunting for 5 years, it's been exploding with turkeys and turkeys and turkeys. And then all of a sudden this farmer sells it herd dispersal out and he doesn't have cattle. There's not going to be that many turkeys on that particular farm that year. They may only be next door, but it looks like a population decline, if you're only hunting that one area.
That's right. Look at this guy right here. Captain Justin Diamond right there.
I'm telling you right now, October, we'll be down there.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Captain. We appreciate it. Captain Justin Diamond, Florida Bow Fishing Adventures. I tell you what, you need to go on his TikTok. You need to go on social media. Check out manatees, dolphins, bow fishing, and even pretty good hand at some gator hunting and some Osceolas, right along with them other guys. The good stuff right there in Florida keeps on going. Justin,
the last thing I heard from him is quite possibly a new state record Barracuda archery equipment.
Yep. A monster. Yeah. Pretty excited.
I don't know if he can shoot you that picture. Maybe you can upload that thing just to.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It's pretty awesome. Justin Tinsley said, we are overran with turkey. He said it all depends on the area and food available. To me, it's just like deer. Some places have more than others. You're exactly right. Paul Scherer says, from what I hear, Justin needs a 410 for all birds. That could be stemming back to maybe some sandhill crane adventure. I don't know. Speaking of sandhill crane, you got to try some of that yesterday. How was that eating?
Pretty good stuff, man.
Pretty good stuff. It is
pretty good stuff. Don't overcook it. About 137 degrees. Take it off, wrap it up a little bit, and let her sit and get up to that medium rare. Pretty tasty.
Pretty good stuff. Tim Fannin says, the big numbers seem to spoil people. I've hunted since day one of Kentucky season, the first 3 years. I hunted them in the early 90s, never seen or heard one. I'd hunt no matter the population. You're right on, Tim. They just something magical about the spring woods. I'll tell you what a good friend of mine told me. that he thought, and everybody's got an opinion on it. That's the beautiful thing about this. We all can put our opinions together and see what we come up with. But prior to COVID, we had some bad hatches. I think everybody would probably agree with that. One way that had real wet springs. A lot of times people all they want to associate turkey populations with is cold winters or something like that. It's not all about that. You have a real wet spring, you got a high mortality rate with poults, nests before they even hatch, all kinds of things. But we had a lot of wet springs, bad hatches. Then COVID hit. Well, what happened during COVID? Everybody's locked up in the house. Everything shut down. And we seen a boom in people getting outside, right? So we seen a bunch of people take to the turkey woods. Big harvest numbers for 2 years there. Bad hatches. Then the next thing for the last 2 years, especially 3 years ago, there were hardly any 2-year-old birds in the woods. And if you are an unexperienced turkey hunter, them 2-year-old birds make you feel like a champ. He's not a Jake. He's a longbeard, fully mature, but he's 2 years old and he's still pretty dumb. And he lights up the turkey woods, gobble his head off at anything. So we've seen a decline in all that. But now, the last 2 years, when I say the last 3 years, I'm talking about prior to the last 2 years. The last 2 seasons, we've seen a pretty good hatch. And seen a lot of Jakes last year, more Jakes than normal. I don't know if y'all would agree to that or not. But I think this year, especially in our area, Farley, I think we're going to see some of that jargon kind of nixed, as I think that people are going to see more or better turkey numbers and experiences than over the past few years.
No, I agree. I feel like last year was better, and this year will be even better than last year. So, like you said, I did see more Jakes last year. So I feel good about this season as far as numbers go. Like you said, that real wet weather hurts big time. You got to think all these birds are nesting on riverbanks and creeks, and when you have flooding, that pretty well wipes that out, and so that's got a lot to do with it.
Yeah, good deal. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I don't think it's just a flood type situation. It's pretty easy for those hens to keep those eggs warm when it's cold, but when it's wet and cold, that hen, she's still got to get out in that wet weeds to eat a little bit, and she comes back, and now she's saturated with water off of that vegetation. She climbs on them eggs. Them eggs are wet now. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
It's not just a flooding situation. I think it's just the cold weather's a lot easier for the hen to perform her job than it is when it's just damp and wet all the time.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Paul Shear says, how many of y'all use a 410 for turkeys? Ben Moore says, I've killed a few with the 410. What do you think, Farley? Have you jumped on the 410 bandwagon?
Oh yeah, I've killed quite a few with 410.
Yeah. What about you, Matt?
I've got a 410. I bought one of those 410s for the kids, and the year I bought it, I think Cameron decided she was going to shoot 12 gauge 3.5 inch.
Kimber's extraordinary, son. We're not talking about an ordinary girl.
She's not backing down, buddy. She's not backing down.
Ben says I'm gonna hunt with the 20 this year. I'll tell you what I'll be with me. I mean, right out of the bat, it'll be this old 12 gauge muzzleloader, the old Thompson Center Tree Hawk. Be what it'll be with me. Paul Priest says, where had the quail gone to? In 2000, I had them here at my place. Now no quail, no grouse. And Paul, that's a good question. and to me, it all goes back to habitat. We have seen a decline in the healthy, good habitat that sustain a lot of this stuff that we've seen go to the wayside. The quail, in my mind, there's two culprits with the quail. And once again, I'm no biologist, but autumn olive takeover and Cerisa lespedeza, two of the hardest things in the world on quail. And we have seen since the decline of surface mining here in Kentucky, especially in the east, we have seen this, take over in rapid succession. So that's the thing on the quail. On the grouse, it's not one culprit to me. With the grouse populations being down, you look at the high elevations. You go down around the Pine Mountain Ridge, Black Mountain. You go down around those areas. There's still grouse in Kentucky. A lot of people want to blame it on predators. It's the perfect storm with the grouse. Habitat loss. We now have these forests that are, no sunlight's hitting the ground. A lot of our forests have been taken over by invasives. Predator numbers are up. Habitat loss due to various things. And it's just numerous things that's taken over the grouse. Grouse is a complicated species. And go to some of your northern, look at a Michigan habitat or a Wisconsin habitat. You don't have to drive down the road. Just look up some grouse hunting videos. Get on YouTube, look up, grouse hunting on YouTube or whatever else, and look what they're hunting in. And Farley, I think, will probably echo what I'm talking about. Our area, once upon a time, looked like that. Looked like that habitat that you'll see, those woods that they're hunting in up north. That's what Gunlock looked like.
Yeah, that's what I grew up hunting. That's what I was going to say. Me and Trinity both grew up hunting what I call just old strip land, and I mean, it used to be beautiful. When you got up there, it was fields. I mean, just pretty green fields. And now when you get there, it's autumn olives, and I don't know what the grass is called, but I call them stickweeds. I mean, they ain't good for nothing. And I think that, it's hurting the small game hunters too, as far as rabbits and things go. It's just, that our once upon a time beautiful habitats been took over by autumn olives.
Yep. Yeah, and our forest, prescribed fires, and thankfully, Fish and Wildlife's bringing back some of this. You're going to see this more and more. We're seeing fire. So many of our native species are fire dependent. People don't realize that. So we're seeing more and more places being burned. We're seeing basil levels being increased with opening canopies up, because a lot of times native forage species in the woods need a better basal level when it comes to the canopy. So we're seeing canopy thinning. We're seeing forest stand improvement plans. And man, I tell everybody week in and week out, we got a whole big series on anything you want to know about land and habitat management, the things you can do on your farm, right here on our page. You can go to YouTube, or you can go right here. You can go back, and we've got about a 4-part series on habitat, food plots, and forest improvement stands. So I hope everybody takes advantage of that. That's a good question, Paul. Thank you for that. Tim says, "Well, my 835 misfires again. I'm gonna throw a pocket knife through a long beer." 835, one of the best turkey guns ever made. Tim, you just wore it out, buddy. You wore it out. You're gonna have to do something else, buddy. Ben Moore says, "No one manages timber in eastern Kentucky. These birds need sun to hit the ground and regular controlled burns." You are exactly right, Ben. And let's face it, controlled burns takes a lot of people power, a lot of liability, assuming, and you just got to get it done on the right conditions. So, very good, man. When you talk turkey with the turkey master, the turkey slayer, the old gun locker, an hour goes by pretty fast.
Thank you for having me on.
Hey, man, we appreciate you. I want to show you some stuff before we get going, then we'll close out. Look here, boys. I am going to try this thing out this year. This is a brand new decoy from Global Outdoors Hunting Decoys out of Central Kentucky. I've got a whole host of them. You know what I forgot this year, Matt, which it would have done us any good anyway. We were too busy cooking and carrying on and catering. I forgot but these are 2D. But you want to know what's worse than that? I forgot the coyote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what's worse than that is you missed the coyotes.
I don't want to talk about that. Nobody asked you. You understand me? Nobody asked you. All right.
You
Just
didn't forget them. You just forgot to shoot them.
I don't need nothing from you either, Justin. I forgot these. So everybody head over to Global Outdoor Hunting Decoys. I'm telling you right now, man, these things are as realistic as they get. High quality, easy to carry, man. I'm excited about this turkey decoy. You know, of course, I've got the traditional decoys, but I'm going to try this guy out right here. Little old Jake. He's not very big, and I think it's going to be a win-win. So we're pretty excited about that. Also, hot off the press, man. Hot off the press. Uh-oh. Paul Priest says HIP program from the state helps landowner. That's right, man. HIP, WHIP, a lot of things. Go to fw.ky.gov. Find your local private lands biologist. Check out some of these cost share programs. They're out there waiting on you. It's basically free money, free product, lot of free stuff. Now, there's things that you have to do. It's not completely free. But the Habitat Improvement Program and the Wildlife Habitat Improvement Program, a lot of good stuff. Also, check with your local UK extension offices and your soil conservation officer. My soil conservation officer has got free saplings right now, persimmons, hazelnuts, and a couple other things that they're handing out. So go check them out. Hot off the press right here from Burley Custom Calls. Look at that. Laser engraved TLC pot call from the Burley Company. Has he changed it to the Burley Company, I guess? Burley Custom Calls.
Yeah, I think so.
Look at this hat. We got some hats coming. If old Farley could sing on that glass call right there, it'd probably sound pretty good. Not me though. We're pretty excited about that. You've heard about Burley Custom Calls, the Burley Company now. You check them out on Instagram. Coming up this weekend, folks, Upland Tower Shoot. This Saturday. You've got till Thursday to get signed up. Ben and Maddox is coming. We got a few others that's going to be there. We're going to have all kinds of fun. You got to be prepaid by this Thursday. We switched it from Saturday to this Saturday. Going to be right there at Gunlock Hollow in Gunlock, Kentucky. Going to be a lot of fun. Some folks deem this as the best thing to ever hit Eastern Kentucky. Is that not what they said last year, Matt?
What they said. Even the game warden said that.
Even the game warden said it. So be sure to check that out. You got till March 31st. Time's ticking. Show special. Get $25 knocked off. Let us take you on a guided thermal coyote hunt. And as you can see from last week, it's not for lack of getting them in. Old Trinity just couldn't shoot. So get on it right there. We've got plenty of opportunity to take you hunting. Mark your calendars, folks. Tickets are on sale as we speak. May the 11th, Saturday, May the 11th. Come to Kentucky's official elk draw, the Kentucky Outdoor Fest in Bardstown, Kentucky. The Kentucky Gun Company. Over 200 guns to be given away. Elk, Alaskan, I think it's Alaskan moose is what I read on our elk hunt giveaway, moose giveaway, Honda side-by-side, ATVs, live music, food, drink trucks, vendor village, archery range, all right there in Bardstown, Kentucky. And you may be one of 500 people to see your name across the big screen for this year's coveted Kentucky elk hunt. Farley right there has harvested an elk. Matt's wife right there has harvested an elk. And Matt and I have seen a lot of elk hit the ground through our guide company right here. And right here, Strutting Jake's Youth Turkey Tournament, April 5th through the 7th. Season will be the 6th and 7th. Sign up on the 5th. This is free, folks. Free. Come out and register at Ride Direct, 4 to 6 o'clock. Spend a weekend with TLC Outfitters. Hunting, prizes, calling contests, trophies, door prizes, certain caliber giveaways, all kinds of stuff. Come out and see us. Mark, and all this will be on our Facebook page. And man, I don't know what else I can do. Guys, what you got in closing? Farley, close us out. What you got, buddy?
Man, just keep hunting, man. That's all you can do.
That's right. That's right. Man, we've had some good hunts over the year. We need to get back at it. You know, we killed some fall turkeys and got there some spring turkeys. And every time I go out with you, I'll learn a thing or 10. So let's get up together and head back out.
We'll do it.
Sounds good. Matt, what you got in closing, buddy?
But I'm just watching that clover and that winter wheat start growing. That'd be good strut zones for them turkeys.
Yeah, man. We can't wait, man. Paul, Gator Paul says, thanks for a great show, guys. Appreciate you, Gator Paul. Folks, that's all we got this week. We appreciate you tuning in on Air and Outdoors. Farley, thank you for your time. Matt, thank you for yours. Remember, if you want to know the creation, if you want to know the creator, look at the creation. And man, what great things you got to get out. Everything's blooming outside. Get out and enjoy the great outdoors. Go out and look for some antlers. Go out and do some turkey scouting. Get ready. It will be here. It is March the 12th. We are less than a month away from youth turkey season, and we're just shy, a little bit over a month until Kentucky's regular opener. We appreciate you so much. Tune in next week right here on Air and Outdoors with TLC Outfitters. Y'all have a good one.
Eastern Kentucky, where I was raised, where the wildlife and mountains call my name. I was born to hunt, I was born to guide, a camouflage on a rifle by my side. Just good old country boys chasing dreams in the Appalachian Mountains, field of trees. From those white-tailed bucks strutting toms, the bugling elks that are on the run. Where those dreams are made, the trophies is our game. The TLC Outfitters is our